Welcome to episode 1 of the Con Squared podcast.
There it is. He's done this like 5 times already. But yeah, welcome to episode 1. I don't really know if this is even gonna be a podcast. We could call it the Con Squared discussion, but I don't know
It's going to be called a podcast.
If this goes well, we'll turn it into a podcast.
And if it doesn't, then we will stop after episode 1.
So the funny thing about this podcast is that I actually proposed this to Sal Khan a year and a half ago. So Mahad, you were my second choice.
Well, you know, Sal is our daddy, so if he couldn't be here, I'm happy that you brought me on instead.
So many people always ask me. I don't know if they ask you a lot too, but
Yeah, I think it's more like racist than it is like endearing in a way. But like, you know, if I had to be like, you know, related to someone, Sal Khan is a great guy, so it's fine.
I mean, we did go to the same school, so like we have the same last name. We both.
He went to MIT?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think he studied like chemical engineering or physics. I actually don't know, but yeah, went to the same school, same last name. Both upload educational content to the internet.
Yeah, they know who Sal Khan is. We love you, Sal.
Lots of parallels. Yeah.
All right, so we've been planning this episode 1 for like 4-5 months
For like
now.
so many months, and we never got around to it. But today, I finally decided to set everything up, and was like, you know what? Let's just.
I also just want to point out there, I am not a podcast guy. I'm a very much script everything, do the same take 14 times, and so whatever. So I might be a bit unclear. I'm not the most coherent guy, I think, and I kind of have a slur. But I'm gonna do my best here, and we'll improve. So please bear with me, and I'll tell my jokes. It'll be funny, but yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah, this is such a different sort of dynamic. I'm so used to knowing exactly what I want to say. I think live streams are also a bit easier because I can just be spontaneous and I can interact with the chat. But
I hate live streaming, dude. I hate anything where I'm just like put in like a position and I just have to go. That's scary. I'm so scared of like doing this shit.
I mean, live streaming is tough at first, but I enjoy it.
No, you were OD at it. You've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's like great for just like interacting with you guys and actually.
I think retention is dropping just because we're yapping. So let's just. So what's the purpose of this Con Squared podcast?
So this podcast is going to be all about pretty much what's already on our channels: college admissions, study advice,
personal growth,
fitness, finances, all that stuff. But it's going to be coming from a more personal angle. It's not just going to be me sitting here and being like, Parkinson's law, Pomodoro method, or whatever.
3 tips to reduce study.
Yeah, I mean, those videos are fun, but I feel like we never really integrate our personal stories into them that much. But the whole point of this podcast is to just show you guys a glimpse into who we are, our lives.
It's just banter in it.
Yeah, true. Maybe in future episodes, we'll bring in like our brother who's actually listening in on us right now. He's like right over there. Might bring in our parents. I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
We wanted to bring our brother into the channel altogether, and we were going to name it Con Cubed. But for there's one for we couldn't do that for a reason you could probably figure out, and I'll leave it there. But yeah, let's just jump into episode 1. Who are you? Right? That's who are you, dude?
All right, so the purpose of this episode is to give you guys some context into who we are. We're going to talk about our high school journey, our college journey, how we achieved academic success. I don't think we really need to repeat our stats here. I think you guys already know which colleges we got into, where we went all.
Hi, I'm Gohar. I'm a first-generation low-income student who was admitted to 6 Ivy League schools, MIT and Stanford. And the admissions process was really tough for me in high school. You know, I had to scour the internet for all my resources. I had no help. And then I realized I wanted to give back to you guys.
So, yeah, he nailed it. I mean, honestly, that is true. That is the essence of my story, and I've pretty much told it just many the reason he's mocking it is because I tell this story very often in many different contexts.
I just didn't want to find a job after college, frankly. You could laugh. But
so, no, honestly,
you guys give me money just for watching me, so thank you, frankly. Yeah.
I didn't really want to find a job after college either. I did some internships in college, and I enjoyed them. I learned a lot, but I feel like ever since I was young, I've always been super entrepreneurial. Who were you back when you were younger? What do you say, like elementary school, middle school? Were you thinking about college when you were super young? I think the first time I started thinking about the Ivy League was like middle school, honestly, which was nuts. But I don't know. What was your perspective?
Like what I cared about as a kid?
Yeah, like when you were in middle school, were you a tryhard or no?
Oh yeah, no. I was also a tryhard, just elementary. Like, you know, back when like you did the pages of like math multiplication, or the 5x5 of like multiplication.
Oh
sheets.
yeah.
And then the teacher would be okay, you know, flip them over now and raise some dude. I was like OD at that.
Wait, what about multiplication wars? Were you the goat of your class?
Yeah. I was that gave me the dopamine rush I got from that is like unparalleled to what I can get now. But there were a few times where I got beat by like the class jocks, and the shit that did to my ego was like shattering. But yeah, try hard. I think we both were just, as part of the Asian culture, Asian genes, in all honesty.
Yeah, like what I will say though is that our parents didn't really force us to be tryhards. I think that's one misunderstanding that a lot of people have about us and our story is, oh my God, your parents must have been like telling you to study every single day all throughout.
Yeah, because we're first gen. We're first generation students. Our parents didn't go to college. They came from Pakistan like late 1990s. So like they have no idea, or still really don't have an idea of how the college admissions process works. I mean, you kind of just did that on your own, and but like we did not have like tiger parents in the slightest. They were just like get good grades because that's like the only metric that they really understood. But the idea of like APs or extracurriculars was so foreign that like we had to completely discover that on our own.
I'm trying to think about like what caused us to care that much.
I mean, I think you have. I mean,
you can be honest. You can say whatever you want.
I think you have an inherent drive just to win, regardless, right?
Oh wow, okay.
No,
that's a crazy way to put it, but I mean, I'm competitive.
I think your personality just kind of it's a combination of your personality plus just like the people around you. I think you had a good group of people who also were like studying hard and all that. Obviously, you were at the top, but yeah, I think you just. Since you said that you're entrepreneurial since elementary, you just have like a drive that I think other people don't have. And I'm not glazing you just do that shit, but like, I did it really because like, oh, this is the standard, I guess. He did it, so let me try it, and it worked. I have a natural talent, whereas yours is more learned, and you have to try harder than I do. But yeah, you just have a drive to win. I also insulted you there. I don't know if you caught that, but no, yeah, I think you got that like dog in you type shit.
What was the insult? I don't think I caught that.
I said like you had to really try.
Study,
whereas
that's but it's funny he mentions that because we both were so comparable academically. We both pretty much had equivalent, the exact same GPA, exact same standardized test scores, exact same rank. Both went to school in Cambridge. It's kind of ridiculous how I think that's God at play, honestly, putting us both on the exact same path. It's just ridiculous to think about. But what he just mentioned is I had to try really hard, and that's true. So, I mean, I'll give you some context. This man barely studied for the SAT. Walks in, gets a 1560 his first or second try. Second try. It was, nuts. Meanwhile, I had to do some pretty extensive prep. Like, I studied for weeks and weeks and spent many hours trying to crack the ACT. And yeah, even the SAT subject test, I think you just walked in, got an 800 on Math 2, and I went through the entire Barron's prep book, did all the practice problems, took notes on everything. I just went.
To be
fair,
was
already, honestly.
In my time was like when Khan Academy did all their SAT stuff, and it came at a time where like the SAT you realize was just a game. It was a game. You could game it. The type of question that asked you, and you spam Khan Academy like all of these like books. I felt like I had no need for or in anything.
So it's like I feel like I was at the cusp of that generation where. Like
you were at 2400.
Yeah, I took the SAT when it was on the 2400 scale. Y'all might not even remember that. None of you probably remember that. But Khan Academy did not have some sort of digital SAT platform. I actually had to use prep books and Google and YouTube videos to prepare for the exam, which was a very different dynamic. But yeah, all that's to say is that I feel like this guy actually has some crazy natural genius. As much as he's a glazing mirror about my drive, this guy.
I am like significantly lazier. And I was a tryhard with my studies. I try hard at my studies just because like I wanted the A's and I wanted valedictorian. Like I wanted it. But like in terms of like just the other stuff you did outside school, I had to be a bit more like I guess meticulous and seek them out. Versus like I think you kind of just wanted to do it. And for me, at least early on, I was like, oh, what extracurricular do I do? Yours came more naturally. Like this is sick, and I want to make a project. It wasn't until I really found my interest in psychology, like junior year, where I was like, okay, let me see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
So there's different types of students, but yeah, end result was pretty similar in terms of statistics.
Oh yeah, identical. But I think it's interesting that you mentioned that because there's students who fall into two buckets where you have students who are trying to build their extracurriculars very intentionally, and then there are those who kind of find their way into a certain niche or industry, or not industry, that's such a weird word.
Yeah, that's so like college course.
But like category or whatever. For me, when I did my website, YouTube channel stuff, I didn't even know it could be an extracurricular until my best friend in high school told me, "Oh, are you gonna put that on your college application?" And my first instinct was no. I told him, "No, I'm not gonna put this on there. Why would I mention this? It's not a real club or organization." But then I was like,
that was number one activity.
yeah, I was like, holy crap! Wait, no, this is like a whole
and you were
thing
doing that since elementary. Obviously, on the Common App, you can only put 9, 10, 11, 12. But like the script, yeah, it's clear that the passion is so real, which is what I think a lot of students these days don't take into account as much.
One thing that I want to say though is I also get it, right? I think a lot of students, when they're starting these nonprofits and organizations, I also get the stress and the pressure you feel from the college admissions process, because nowadays you go on A2C, you go on College Confidential, you see nothing but totally absurd profiles. Like,
not everyone's gonna have some genuine passion fall out of the sky from like 5th grade, and then, oh my god, my top 4 extracurriculars have been like gift wrap for me, or I've been doing it since middle school. Like, yeah, I will nuance my take, because it is a bit unfair to say that, like, oh, you guys just make fake clubs and all that shit, because it's like, it's a competitive landscape out there, and like, yeah, you're not born with like inherent interest and passions, right? And if you didn't, find that in middle school, yeah, in high school you're gonna be stressed out. You're gonna be rushing to see, oh, let me try something in this, let me try something in that. Yeah, you're gonna make a club or two, and maybe it might not work out. But it's just unfortunate that is like the norm now, with people are just kind of making clubs though, and they're not doing anything significant with them, or they're just like stacking volunteer hours like randomly without like, I think, really taking the time freshman, sophomore year. Like, okay, what do I actually, what is cool to me? What's interesting? And how can I convert that into something versus like what's impressive, what looks impressive, and then trying to force an activity out of that. I still think there's a difference there. One comes out of like an interest after you introspect, whatever. One comes out of like, oh, admissions officers probably think, doing like this type of research is cool, so let me just do this type of research. And I still think it's different.
I think like way too many students think about the title or the impressiveness or the accolades or how it sounds rather than the genuine story behind it. And so if you're trying to, for example, piece together your extracurricular profile, I recommend that you think about your core theme or message or passion first, and then build the world around that, rather than just trying to pull in every random opportunity that sounds good that you can find, because that's not going to help you too much.
Once again, you can and probably should game your extracurriculars, right? You should have a structure. You should have a plan of like, oh, I want to do research this year. I want to create a passion project and develop it out, whatever that looks like. You should do that. All I'm saying is try to make it authentic.
I guess on that note, let's maybe talk about how, I wouldn't say game, but let's talk about how we sort of
found our themes.
Yeah, because sure, I had that whole middle school web dev, YouTube channel, whatever stuff. Yeah, so the YouTube stuff, web development stuff was number one.
Type shit.
But then I also had research. So this was like later in my high school career. I did machine learning research, which I thought complemented my web development stuff pretty well, because the web dev stuff was cool. It centered around design and development and creativity, but I wanted to add more of an intellectual twist to my computer science interest in my resume. And that's where I was like, okay, let's do research. And machine learning at the time was a very hot topic, as it still is today and always is.
Yeah, I mean, you got in on a good industry.
And so pursued a project in that, though I didn't go super far with it. Still included that on my application. But I think a big driving theme of my application was this balance between STEM and the humanities. And that's
intersections.
Yeah, that's what I talk about all the time. It's what my main personal statement was also about. So to create that sort of dichotomy, I ran for editor-in-chief of Newspaper Clubber. I actually didn't even run for it. I just digitized the entire school newspaper, and I just found myself into that role.
Yeah, because you were the only dude in our school who knew how to use a computer like that at the time. So it's like it was so funny. He like put the school newspaper, which used to be on like actual newspaper or like I think just like papers printed out. He put it online or whatever, and like everyone acted as if that was like witchcraft or something. Or like, oh my god, like we're in the cloud, or like this. People could see this online. We're like, yeah, dude, there's a domain and everything. So it was, yeah.
And so that was like my main humanities activity. But I also did some nonprofit volunteering. I remember I was like the web developer and also like a student representative for some nonprofit organization that allowed me to do an event at the UN, which was incredible. And that, for example, contrasted very well with all of the very STEM heavy activities that I was doing. So that's how I really thought about my theming. I think you figured yours out like sophomore, junior year, or maybe even freshman.
I mean, quite frankly, I don't think in high school I had the strongest extracurriculars. I think I just had I mean, if we're being completely frank, I think I just had a really good story. And the way I approached college apps, I don't want to get away from the point of what we're talking about, but like, I approached the entirety of college apps as in like, okay, pretty straightforward. This is what I did. This is who I am. You know, I had some shit happen to me back in the day. That's how it affected me. And I think, I mean, even with the notes I see from the admissions officers after my like decisions came in, they were like, yeah, this story was just very like endearing and like authentic and all that. But yeah, how I figured out my interests, my first activity I didn't really start until like sophomore summer, which was what was it? It was psychology research. Yeah, psychology research. It was after I took AP psychology sophomore year with DeMarco.
Nice.
And yeah, the class was just cool, right? At that point, I wasn't like you. I didn't have academic interest per se. Like yeah, I was good at math. I think I was a pretty good writer. I was good in like high school classes, right? But I didn't come home every day with like oh boy, I want to like explore the depths of like space, like Cheyenne, right? So for me, it was like the first 2 years was like, let me just explore these school clubs, right? Because that's all I knew. Like, let me just do student council and Hope Club, and I didn't do newspaper. I don't know what else I did, but I kind of stayed within the school system. I wasn't figuring stuff out because once again, I didn't really take college admission that seriously until later. But then I took AP psychology, and I was like, you know what? Like, this is like an academic discipline that's cool. It's like genuinely just cool, especially just in terms of a consumer decision making for me, or just this decision making, which is why then I was like, you know what, Gohar is doing research. Research is cool. Let me actually try to research something in psychology specifically I was interested in. So I reached out. I cold emailed some professors, as is that's anyone who's trying looking for research. Yeah, it worked out. I found a great guy at a local university, and that was my number one activity. I did that for a few years, and then through that, I think my interest in psychology kind of just grew on itself. And the next summer, I found an internship at a therapy clinic, right? Because once again, I really like dealing with people. I think I'm a good person who likes to deal with people's problems. I think I'm a good listener.
Yeah, this guy, oh my God, if you look at his friend circles or whatever, everyone goes to this guy with all of their personal problem stories.
It really is.
Even I do. Like if I'm like just overthinking, I just walk up to Mahad, I just dump on him. Like he's great. He's great at that stuff.
A middle child thing as well. I think a lot of people watching this can relate. If you're a middle child, just being in between the older and younger, and like having that special bond between both, giving advice but also asking for advice, you kind of learn. And I think that was like something in me when I took AP psychology. I was like, oh, I kind of see these constructs in my younger and older. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm good with people. So then I did the therapy clinic internship, and yeah, I know once again that's corny to say, but it was genuine interest. I don't know if I'd call it like a passion. I still don't know how to define passion, but it was cool. And a lot of my activities focused on that. I did cross country, was captain for a few years, student council vice president. So yeah, the rest of my activities, I wouldn't say I was focusing so much on a theme. Once again, like I said, my whole thing was I didn't go into it with like, how do I game this? How do I do that? It was like I did two activities, my two main activities, because I thought they were cool. Mm-hmm. Cross country, I've been doing since 9th grade. I loved it. I met some of my best friends there, Dan Sookman, right? Student council, doing since 9th grade. I just wanted to get leadership, and it just happened. My activities just kind of were born out of themselves. And when it came essay time, I had genuine interest to write about. So I think a bit different, but similar at the same time in terms of like, I knew what I wanted to do. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I was cognizant of what activities top colleges were looking for. Like I'm not stupid. I knew like I couldn't just do student council, right? And I wanted to get into the top schools. Of course I did. So I was like, you know what? How can I do that while at the same time doing something I like? And that's how I landed on my top two. And yeah, it was cool.
So I guess how was your high school experience more broadly then? I feel like we're talking a lot about our activities.
Yeah,
we're talking about like what we did for our resumes, which is a huge chunk of what we did, but maybe let's speak more to the social, the overarching experience we had in high school, because I think if you're watching this podcast, I'm assuming you're an overachiever. You're probably similar to us in many ways.
You're probably Indian or Pakistani.
And so what was that experience for you?
I mean, that's a broad topic. To just high school in general, of like outside, How about you start? Let's explore your high
Yeah.
school.
So
Also, it's funny. I always say this. How we were both in high school at the same time for 2 years, right? When I was a freshman, sophomore, you were junior, senior, and I just, for the life of me, cannot remember
he always
our
says this.
interactions. Because like, we were both such nerds and tryhards, right? But
Yeah.
I can't think of like coming home after school and what do we talk about? Like AP classes together? I can't.
Yeah, because like now we're like much closer. I mean, after college, we're like adults now, right? We're comfortable with each other.
Damn.
Yeah. But I feel like back in high school, we were drastically different people. At least I was a drastically different person. And so it is kind of hard. Like, I don't remember what our dynamic was like back in the day. But
Bantered, yeah. But
high school for me it was a tough time. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm happy that it's gone. College was so much more fun for me. It was so much more enjoyable for me. I think in high school, I became a lot more extroverted. I actually went out, met people.
College?
Yeah.
In college, you can't.
In high school, to put it shortly, and then maybe I'll go into more detail or whatever.
Rip the Band-Aid off. You're a loser.
I was not. I wouldn't say loser. I was
a nerd.
I mean, I had friends.
Smelly.
I feel like I was like that smart kid that everyone knew, that was chill.
Yeah, there's always one of those.
And that's about it, right? It's like not someone that's always out and about, that's talking to so many people, but like people knew of me. You know, I was smart.
There, yeah.
People got along with me, but it was
if
just
you
like
showed up in the classroom, like, yeah, that's Gohar.
it's like I spent so much time just focusing on school, and as soon as I would come home, as I've said, I would just spend most of my day studying, grinding for standardized tests, working on extracurriculars. Because entering high school, I'll be honest, my mindset, I was just very hell-bent on becoming valedictorian.
He's got the winner mentality, I'm telling you.
I know I've said
Chasing
that. I
winning.
know I've like made videos about this before, but I actually can't explain, especially my freshman year of high school, how fixated I was on that goal. And you know what? Maybe I'll tell you why. In middle school, they had class rankings. They didn't call them like valedictorian, salutatorian, but they had a class speaker. And in 8th grade,
It's an OD origin story, bro.
and in 8th grade, I was not the class speaker.
Yeah, you were like number 7. I remember that. I remember, dude,
No,
that was like
I
a
was
big
like-
thing at the time. That was like,
Yeah, I think
I
it
don't
was
know who
maybe top
spread
5.
that. No, you weren't. It was like a rumor,
I'm
right?
trying to redeem myself.
'Cause
I don't know why.
we had a middle school top 10 for some whack reason.
Yeah,
I don't know
why they had that in middle school.
So like, no, there are 2 class speakers. I mean, our 8th. So okay, let me just provide some quick context. 8th grade was divided. The 8th grade class was divided into 2 teams per se, right? You had a gold team, you had a white team, and there's a class speaker from each, which was the student with the highest GPA. And then overall for the entire grade, they were the top 10 students, right? And so if you were top 10, you knew because you got to sit in the first row of graduation. And if you were a class speaker, you knew you were number 1 for your team. What people didn't know was like their exact positioning in the top 10. But I just remember there was a rumor going around. I don't know why, that you were number 7 or something.
Because they status
They
according to the to our
People say they didn't,
So
but
whatever
yeah,
rank.
but people speculated that the seating order was like the rank order, and people thought you were going to be number 1. And then when they sat you like 7, it was like, I remember someone came up to me like, dude, you know Gar 7? I was like 6th grade. I'm like, huh?
No,
I was not conscious at the time. I was like, huh?
I still remember in 8th grade, I was waiting in the hall next to my locker, lined up for like history class or whatever. And then one of my friends exits the class, and I guess that was the class they announced the speaker for the team. And this guy walks past me. He's like, "I'm sorry, Gohar, so and so's class speaker."
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god! I don't know why. It shattered me. And I remember I entered high school. I was like, I gotta get valedictorian. It was just the weirdest obsession. And so, yeah, to that point is why I just studied
'cause
all the time.
Valedictorian as in any school, it's just determined by raw GPA, right? Weighted GPA, which meant just get as high of a grade you can in your like, AP classes and all those classes. Which is why you were the first person to take 2 APs.
Sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our
That had
high
never
school
happened
history.
at our school before, but I was like, oh my god, I have to make this work somehow. So I went to the guidance counselor. I was like, is there any way that I can take another AP class? And they allowed me, and it worked out. I mean, I was able to handle
It
it,
was
but
really funny.
it was just
2 years later, I was the first person to take 3 APs sophomore year.
you took 3 your
I
sophomore
took
year.
3. I took Euro as well. Remember?
You took Euro your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Actually,
That was when you were. I can't swear. That was when you were a senior.
Yeah.
And you took Euro. You were.
Yeah,
you
we both
took
were.
Euro.
We both were in the same class together.
We were at the end of the year. So the end of my freshman, the end of his junior year, you pick your schedule for the next year, right? I signed up for AP Euro. He signed up for AP Euro. I was like, hell yeah, we could finally go like band for band, head to head, like on test and see who's smarter. And we got summer work for AP Euro, right? We had the summer work, and it was like late August. School's about to start. I hadn't started summer work yet, obviously. So I was doing Euro. I'm like, Gohar, when are you gonna start it? And he's like, oh yeah, I dropped it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I was taking 2 history APs. I was also enrolled into APUSH, and by the time I had to start my AP Euro summer work, I was like, this is just, there's no way I'm going to be able to manage both classes. And plus, AP Euro seemed like a way harder history AP class. The textbook was just so much more dense. And to be honest, I'm not much of a history buff. This guy is. This guy actually did well in his history classes. I was like, oh my God, I already don't like history as it is. And if I have to study both of these at the same time, I think I might
But the fact that we could have had a class together and you
and actually compare ourselves objectively.
You didn't want to do summer work.
Yeah.
I guess that's a point for you guys that you don't have to take, you could drop an AP if you can't handle it, right? And you'll be fine.
I mean, to be fair, that would have been my 5th or 6th AP. But so yeah, if you're taking a bunch of APs, don't feel bad about dropping.
I think that would have been like your 6th, probably, yeah.
But yeah, I think at the same time though, high school overall, I had a good friend group though. I will mention that. Even though I was studying a lot, I had a great friend group. Maybe it was like core 5, 6 guys, and we kept each other in check for pretty much the entirety of high school. We were all pretty much in the same classes, had similar ranks. We had very similar goals as well. We all wanted to go to the Ivy League.
I think your point is so correct. Having a friend group is so, I wouldn't say underrated, like having the right people around you, because people always say you are the product of the closest 5 people around you, right, or to you, and you spend 6.5 hours with these kids every day. So you have someone who's in the same class, is chasing the same goals. Of course, you're gonna be naturally competitive for one thing, but also, I mean, it's gonna push you to like do well and you have that drive. So you had that, I had that, which I was really blessed for. I know we keep flip flopping. I know you're telling your story right now, but I just want a quick shout out to my friend group. Dan does all and
why is there government names?
Oh, sorry, Dan, Alexei, Cyrus, Sukman. Y'all know, who you are. Vidam, you know who you are. Shout out. You go back to your story.
So yeah, I think what's also funny about we had so many parallels in high school. His best friend was number 2. My best friend was also number 2. We were both like going, him and his best friend were going like head to head academically. Same thing in my scenario, and
that dude.
I think our best friends kept us in check, like kept us going, kept us motivated.
You were still number 2, Dan. Love you, bro. But yeah.
But I'm so grateful that I found the right people, because I think nowadays, especially with COVID, like kids that are going in high school now or dealt with COVID while they were in high school did not get the time to form proper friend groups and maybe find themselves in.
They're just a little weird, right? That's what you're saying?
Sometimes, yeah.
They've been like online for like
brain rot gets to them, Yeah,
I think Zoom classes, they don't know how to talk to people. Yeah, I feel that.
But
I'm calling you weird.
And then senior year was actually way chiller for me. So
high school?
Yeah, first 3 years of high school were very brutal. Or not brutal is a tough adjective.
Do you think seniors chill for you? Senior spring
or senior spring? Senior spring. Spring of senior year was very, very fun.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, because you get into college. At that point, you don't have to care about classes anymore. Your grades don't really matter. Of course, you don't want them to drop to like C's, but you don't really even have to study for AP exams. You're just chilling at that point.
Yeah, because you get into top colleges, AP exams don't like translate to credits.
Yeah.
So for us, we both our credits weren't going to transfer, so it was kind of like, this is like basically an extended vacation.
Yeah, I think for me, my AP Calc, MIT didn't even do anything unless you got a 5 on BC Calc. So my AP scores didn't really help me with. I mean,
our school only offered up to AB anyway.
Yeah, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't get any 5s on my exam senior year.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
I took 5 AP exams. I still needed to take the exam. I didn't want to take the exam in the first place, but they forced me to if I wanted the GPA boost. So I took them all, and I didn't get any 5s. I mean, I got all 4s, or 4 4s. but yeah, I mean, at that point, it's weird, right? Because it's like you try hard for so long, you get in, you do everything, and then it's like, now what? Mm-hmm. And I think, second half of senior year, dude, I just went to the gym all the time. I was like, you know what, let me get like buff before college and just hang out. It was just the best time. So for any like, seniors watching this now, yeah, the next few months will be hell, but it's going to be so nice senior spring.
Yeah, I think you were also or a lot more social than I was senior year.
Dude, no, we could no. Yeah, senior year.
I think I feel like you were out and about a lot.
Mom didn't like that.
Yeah.
Our mom, I love her, but yeah, I was out of the house a lot senior spring.
She's chill now. Like I mean, obviously
Very
she has
chill
to be
now.
because we're like grown adults.
Yeah.
But when we were in high school, she was pretty strict about where it could be and when.
She wasn't a tiger parent, but like I think it was just like a foreign mom type of thing. Like you can't have fun 2 days in a row.
Oh my god,
And
that would be the most annoying rule. It's like you would go out with your friends one day and then you can't go out the next day because
you gotta have to bake that in. Like if you have like 2 things back to back, you gotta pick.
You gotta create a gap somehow. Always
at least a day, but like more. But yeah, fine. I mean, our Shayan now, younger brother, he has the most immense amount of privileges.
We gotta bring Sean into this discussion at some point because he's a senior in high school right now. There's a big age. So me and Mahad were 2 years apart. There's a big age gap between us two and our youngest brother, who is currently going through the college admissions process, and he is living obviously in a whole different world than we were. But he's also like very different personality-wise from us. I think
he's a good mesh.
Oh, yeah, he's like a blend of us.
Sean, would you say you're different? Do you have a unique personality? Would you say you're different from us? Sean, come here real quick. Just real quick.
Yes, sir.
Would you say you're closer to me or Gohar in personality?
You know, I just like to be myself.
I don't need the life story.
I just try to do me, honestly.
Oh my god, get out of here.
Yeah, let him do his thing. I kind of lost my train of thought. What we were talking about. Oh yeah, you were a loser, no friends.
No,
go out.
See,
I was more social for sure.
Yeah,
because people liked me more.
Oh, here we go again.
And I have a better personality, and I'm funnier. But I had a mustache sophomore year, and
yeah,
I think we have to segue into that.
This is a random tangent.
I think we have to at least have 2 minutes on that real quick. I'm sorry.
I
had a mustache sophomore year. I was 15, 16, and I was feeling kind of masculine. I was feeling kind of manly. If you're South Asian, you have the ability to start growing, a mustache when you're 15, 16. But you really shouldn't, because it does not look good. Because you have a baby face and you have a mustache, and it's just weird. It's weird looking. My friends refer to me as wet, dirty uncle. But they didn't tell me that until the end of the sophomore year when I shaved it off finally. But yeah, my mom, I had wow, this is a weird tangent, but I had a mustache the entirety of sophomore year because I thought it looked good. My mom said I looked handsome. I looked really good.
She was lying too.
None of my friends said anything to me throughout the entire year, so I thought I was rocking it. I thought I looked good. But at the end of the year, I looked at myself and I was like, let me just shave it off. Let me try for a change. And that I went to school the next day, and everyone's like, "Oh my god,
wait,
you look so much better."
Wait, I actually remember this.
What are you talking? It was the honors breakfast.
That we also had, I think, a student council meeting. I think this was the day that you shaved your mustache. But I remember people were coming up to me talking about how much better this guy started looking as soon as he shaved his mustache off.
It's like, this is why I think we should bring bullying back.
Oh my god,
because I think in this whole era and generation of kindness and niceness and positivity, right?
You better tread this very carefully right now.
It's great, but at least in terms of your friends, okay, not strangers. Because if someone came up to me and said your mustache was hideous, I would have been like, oh damn. But my boys should have told me that hey, you look better without facial hair.
Yeah.
At least that.
So not bullying, but brutal honesty. Someone can just tell you how it is.
Slight bullying for sure. Yeah, exactly. Bullying. If they told me, I would have shaved it off, right? Because at that point, all I care about is validation, and I would have given in peer pressure, obviously, and I would have had a better sophomore year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was bad. If you're a South Asian 15, 16-year-old, don't shave your mustache.
And also, if your parents...
Mom's lying to you.
If your mom said... at least this is what mom told me, why I couldn't shave it off for a while, is because it's going to grow back thicker.
Bullshit.
Nah, it was fine.
Shave it off.
So...
boys and girls, both.
So then, okay, so your social life was a bit better than mine. And I think we're maybe exaggerating how my high school experience went. I wasn't...
No, I don't think so.
I wasn't, miserable, but yeah, there was a different dynamic going on.
True. A senior year, you did go out a lot to, hot tamales.
Yeah,
these restaurants and everything. So that was cool. Well, that was also because Mama was in Pakistan,
Yeah.
And so our dad was only home, and New York dad, can I go out? And he's like, huh, whatever.
Yeah, I had a lot more
chill.
freedom in that point. So
Yeah, but social life, it definitely picks up in college. If you're in high school and you're like, oh, all I do is study. I don't have, I don't go out. Is this gonna get better? It will get better. If you have a goal in mind, if you're striving for something larger, go at it. Don't become as obsessive with grades as I think we were. But there's a balance. I'm not saying abandon everything, just hoop all the time and hang out in your friends' musty basements. But I think there is a balance to be struck that we didn't strike until late high school, at least.
Yeah. And then I guess I won't really repeat what he just said there, but I'll also say is embrace your weird sides. I made a video about this as well, but
don't kill the cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes.
There we go. So yeah, honestly, I believe that because when I was in high school and I was doing YouTube, it was tough. It wasn't that fun. People knew what kind of content they knew that I was doing gaming content. In some of those moments, I would feel like, oh my gosh, should I just delete my channel? But I was having fun with it. And plus, it was a business. I was making money. It was sustainable. I was being creative. And
guys, in high school, people will make fun of you for doing things
that are different, that are outside the norm.
That's all high school is just people making fun of people because they feel bad about themselves. So you're fine.
All right, and to add to that point, I do recommend that you also just try to put yourself out there a little bit in high school because a huge part of what colleges look at on applications is leadership. And in high school, the people who get leadership positions are the ones that are a bit more extroverted and outgoing. I think Mahad can speak to this a lot more because this kid was like cross-country captain. I think you were vice president of student council too, right?
Yeah.
And so
I gave a speech.
Yeah.
And, okay, so high school is a lot of, at least the school clubs are, yes, popularity contests. But at least for us, you still had to have some like level of intelligence, right? People wouldn't just vote for you just for the hell of it. So it was the charismatic, smart people that won elections. And I'm not saying that because
are you just glazing yourself at this
No,
point?
I was VP. I wasn't president. The president was way more charismatic than I was. My point is, it's hard to win leadership if you don't talk. And if you just you're just in a book all the time, or, you kind of just get in, get out. If you have the get in, get out mentality, you could succeed, doing your own things. But if you are chasing leadership, chasing companionship, friendship, or even like teacher relationships, you need to be able to kind of let your guard down, like open up and just like, really just like speak to people and not care, which is something that my best friends, Dan and Sukman in high school, were fantastic at. They were, like, frankly, they were just, like, people loved them. They were, like, ranks 2 and 3, and everyone loved them. Like, they had the best of both worlds. And that balance is definitely, I was jealous of them. Because, like, as you kind of painting me as some social extroverted guy, I was not. Like, I think I was pretty introverted up until, like, really junior year of college. But we will talk about that, in a future episode. Maybe I was better. But, like, I have a lot of regrets from high school. One of them being, like, I didn't just kind of lower my, like, my inhibitions, my need for, I wanted to be liked, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, in terms, like you were saying, open up, open yourself up to opportunities and to people. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't. Because if you take yourself too seriously and you're too uppity and, like, you're crying over 2 missed points and you're just going straight home and you're not going to these football games, like, yeah, one thing, yeah, do you, and people can say, people who do all that maybe peaked in high school or whatnot. I don't buy that. I think it's okay to, like, buy in to the high school experience. I think you could buy into the high school experience while still getting the job done otherwise, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the people who argue that, like, oh, the people who, only the jocks, whatever, do all that. Nah, dude, like, have fun in high school. Like, be part of the community. Try it. Talk to your teachers. Teachers are chill. Like, I just don't like the whole idea of, like, oh, like, I was like, the mentality of, oh, no one liked me in high school.
Like the whole villain arc story where people victimize themselves. And
it's like, maybe you were just weird. Maybe you didn't talk. Instead of blaming the jocks. I mean, you got bullied. Yeah, that's bad. But, maybe look at yourself and, like, did you really, like, open yourself up or, like, buy in? I don't know. Those are my 2 cents.
And what I'll say is that making that transition personality-wise is going to feel awkward at first. I mean, if you're generally reserved and then for the first time try to go to a football game or try to speak up in class or try to go to a club meeting, it's not going to feel natural. And you shouldn't blame yourself for that. I think a lot of people feel like it should feel natural, and if it doesn't, then that's something that they should not do. Changing as a person is going to cause discomfort, and you have to embrace that the first few times that you try something new.
Dude, it was awkward for me. It was so awkward. So the first 2 years of my high school, I was like, just like you, super locked in to my APs and classes, super nerdy. I got bullied by like students and teachers, dude. Because there were times in freshman year, especially. Oh my god, freshman year was. I could do a whole podcast episode on freshman year. Where
Are
like,
we just trauma dumping at this point?
Sure. Because like I remember I was so obsessed with grades freshman year. Like everything non-100 was like, I needed 100. That like one time, I got like a 97. And I think you know the story.
I feel bad because I feel like I kind of influenced this mindset of yours.
You did a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not gonna. I got a 97 in my biology class, I got a 97. Yeah. And I emailed the teacher.
I feel so bad just thinking about this.
I emailed the teacher. I'm like, hey, do you have any extra credit opportunities? Like, I want to boost my grade. Guys, if you have a 97,
That's
with an A plus, you should not be asking your teacher for extra credit opportunities. Could you just come across and you are just one, prioritizing the wrong things, and two, you're sweaty, dude. You're so sweaty.
I don't know why this is making me feel bad.
Because no, it should. It was the best wake up call. Because my teacher didn't respond to the email. Instead, the next day in school, she looked at me like I was the stupidest person in the world. She's like, "What is wrong with you? You have a 97." And in fact, you heard about this first.
Wait, I forgot about this story, but this rings a bell.
You were in apes. I remember you told me, and she brought it up in class to you. She's like, your brother needs to relax.
Oh my god! So I had a similar experience my freshman year. In my history class, it was called Civilizations and Change. I remember my grade. I don't think my grade even went to a 96. Maybe it was a single exam, no, I think it was my grade. But I remember asking for extra credit. Oh my god, I cringe at the thought of that. But I mean, I'm glad that we had these experiences freshman year.
Yeah.
And then
Like, no, don't get me wrong. We still like grind our classes, but we weren't like, if we got like a 95 on a test, we're like, okay, sure, cool, keep it going. We weren't like, teacher, please, right? Because that whole incident really opened my eyes. I mean, I had another incident as well in which I was like, I emailed the teacher on my freshman year. I was like, hey, how was this test graded? Because like, I don't think I should have gotten a 90. And the teacher kind of took it personally, or I don't think she got I don't think I got my message across correctly.
That's a crazy thing to say to a teacher.
Is it? Okay, then maybe I just said it wrong. But those two incidents opened my eyes. Like, wow, one, need to just reevaluate what I care about, and two, need to just chill the hell out. Because like being a grade grubber, one, is not good for your own mental health. Two, people will not like you. Nor should they, because you're just annoying. And three, teachers won't respect you. And then when you get your teacher rec letters, you don't want them to say, yeah, he came crying every time he got a 98. Because colleges don't want to see people like that, right? So if everyone worried about your 3.9 or like an 80 on a test or even a B freshman year, just please relax. Please don't lose headspace over it, or don't give it headspace. Because God, like it was a really tough lesson for me to learn. But oh my God, the last 2 years of high school, I chilled out expeditiously, and it was just great. But like I'm happy I had that experience.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm like physically in pain thinking.
It was
about
bad,
those
dude.
Moments.
It was bad. And then just, remember the video Dan made about me? Wow, I have a lot of lore of complaining. It was freshman year biology again.
Oh my God,
I got a low grade on a test, or a group test, like a 90. And I was like, again, like complaining about it. So then one of my classmates made a video edit of like, you know how back then it was like cool to say, oh, he's so salty about that, or like whatever. It was like a video of me, my face on like a Salt Bay or something, like crying. And he's like, oh, my salty, whatever. And he made the video and it just like showed it to people in school.
Dude, I can't do this episode anymore.
So it was.
I need to go take a walk.
No, it was bad. I wouldn't say I was bullied in high school, but I got the wake-up calls I needed. That, I'm happy I have them, because now I could, help you guys against doing the same. But yeah, I mean, I guess this kind of paints the picture that high school wasn't perfect for either of us in the slightest. Like the idea, we got into good schools, and we had pretty good experiences at them. Even in college, I had some shitty experiences. But the idea, like, it is ups and downs for every single person you know. And while, I'm happy with the end outcome, it was great, I worked for it, I still have regrets from how I spent the first few years and what I gave my mental, health to. So for everyone who's struggling currently in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, they don't know what they're doing, where they are, whether they're doing the right thing, just know we were all there. And in due time, you will figure it out. And I always say this to people. I think sometimes you just need to fall to learn the most important lessons. I genuinely believe that for some, to change and grow into the person you want to be, you will have to fail at things and feel bad and be uncomfortable, and it just feel like you messed up and that everything's going wrong.
No, that's so true. Because I mean, if you don't have those experiences, I guess it just means you're not making those mistakes in the first. Never mind.
No, I think even then, I think the people who like say, I regret nothing, whatever. Everyone goes through something, whether like they don't reveal it or like they don't, either they push it out of their mind, as a defense mechanism. I think everyone goes through something, and I think it's okay. I think we should destigmatize talking about it. But yeah, I'm happy with how my high school experience went overall. Of course, I have regrets, but it shaped me into the who you are looking at today. I still have good work ethic. I think I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm handsome.
Oh, there we go. Here he goes again.
I think I'm a complete package, but obviously, you're not half bad either.
I honestly never expected the episode to take the turn that it did here, especially for like the last 10 minutes.
We had a general outline, which we completely abandoned.
Yeah, our outline was to end by talking about college. We were going to talk about college for like the final third, but we haven't even broached that topic in the slightest. I mean, we haven't even talked about the admissions process itself, really, but I don't know if there's much to say there.
No, I'm just applying, writing essays.
Oh wait, yeah, like your whole Quest Bridge. How did you end up? There's a lot to say there.
You gotta leave them with gotta give them a reason to subscribe, right?
Yeah. So I mean, maybe this will turn into a podcast, but if you guys enjoyed this episode and if any points resonated with you, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Please comment.
We would love meaningful comments. Like honestly, I want to hear from you and your experience. Like tell us your lore. How did you have similar experiences? Did you
have a mustache?
Are we just some outliers that just were maybe a bit way too obsessed? I mean, I would love to figure out.
Yeah, no. If you had a mustache, please DM me at Mahad I on Instagram, and I'll talk it through you. Therapy, it works out.
He'll convince your mom to tell you to take that thing off.
But yeah, please, subscribe for more episodes, and because this will pay my bills. But hope you enjoyed, and I'll let him end us out.
And we'll see you again next time.
That was pretty good.